We're here in Indianapolis at the beautiful Colts facility, joined by QB1 Daniel Jones. DJ, thanks for joining the Schultz Report inaugural episode.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Okay, Daniel, how does it feel to be named QB1 of the Colts as well as team captain?
Obviously, excited to get the chance to play and to be out there week one and to be named captain is a tremendous honor. I think never take that lightly. I think anytime that a group of your peers, people you work with and compete with, and they vote you captain, I think that's something I've always tried to take really seriously and do the best I can to represent them in whatever way I need to. But grateful and very appreciative of that.
I guess how long did it take to sink in for you to realize I'm QB1 and I'm captain my first year with the Colts? Like, what was your reaction to it?
I mean, yeah, like I said, excited. I think pretty quickly though, you go to like, all right, now it's real. Now we're getting ready for week one. We're playing the Dolphins, and let's get ready to do that. So excited and obviously grateful. And then pretty quickly, it's like it's time to go. So you're in camp mode for so long. In camp, it's grind and day to day, especially the position I was in, competing to start. Your focus is so close on what's ahead.
Yeah.
But to get that news, you're pretty quickly into now we it's time to go.
So you spent a lot of time in New York. The Giants really all you've known, obviously in Minnesota for a minute. But what's been the biggest difference football-wise, off the field, just in general, going from a market like New York to now Indianapolis?
Well, there's a big difference off the field for sure. I think, Indianapolis as a city is very different than New York, and I lived pretty close to New York City on the Jersey side, but that's a busy part of the country, and there's a lot of people moving around on top of you all the time, which I enjoyed. But I really like Indianapolis. I think the people here are nice. There's the Pacers were a lot of fun to watch and follow this off season as we were here during OTAs. But I've really enjoyed it. And then on the field, just the trying to get to know the guys in the locker room. I think we got a lot of really good dudes on the team and fun guys to work with. And then getting to know the coaches and learning the system, learning what Shane wants, what Jim Bob wants, how they see the offense, how they want it executed day in and day out. But I'd say the biggest difference is just you've got Indianapolis versus New York. It's pretty different.
Found any good food?
There's some good food. Yeah, there's some good food. I'm still working through some of those spots and trying to find some favorites, but there's some good food. A lot of steakhouses. It's a big steakhouse spot downtown. There's a number of them.
How do you develop a relationship with the coaching staff? Obviously, the players are one thing, but from a coaching staff standpoint, how do you develop with Jim Bob and Shane? And what's the key to that? I know you got to be yourself, but there's a trust that gets developed. Where does that happen? How does it happen?
Obviously, on the field is important, with any situation and communicating, before plays, after plays, what you're seeing, what they want, what they're expecting in the meeting room, kind of the same kind of conversations. All that's important. And then, time in between, whether it's walking, onto the field or off the field or in the weight room or whatever it is, or on the golf course or grabbing a dinner or something. I think all that time is valuable, and the better those relationships are, I think the better you can communicate when it is time to figure something out on the field or on the sideline or in a game plan, getting ready to play somebody.
One thing I've always admired about you is you have always taken ownership, whether it's going well or especially when things go south. You've always taken ownership. Do you feel like you were set up for success in New York?
Like you said, I take 100% of the quarterback is at the center of what happens on a lot of NFL teams. I think that's certainly true. And I didn't play well enough at times, and that hurt our team in New York. But it was a tough situation at times. I think we dealt with a lot of injuries. We had several coaches and people in and out and players in and out. And anytime that happens, I think it's tough. But, other quarterbacks deal with that too. And I think that, you learn a lot in those experiences.
Have you been able to lean on Eli? I know you've always had a good relationship with him. Even now, How has he, helped you?
I've stayed in touch with him, and obviously through my time in New York, and then still stay in touch. But whether it's week to week after games, kind of asking what he thought or his take on a certain situation, and then down to just communicating with teammates or setting up an off-season training idea or kind of going into a game. I think just little questions here and there, knowing he's been through it all and obviously dealt with a lot of those things really, really well. Just hanging out and playing golf. I think that relationship has certainly helped.
What do you feel like is the biggest difference schematically from maybe what you had in New York to Minnesota to now in Indy with Coach Steichen? What does he do different that you've been able to learn so far?
Throughout the league, a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard people are running a lot of the same plays and doing a lot of the same things. I think the Minnesota system, that Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, that style of offense is unique to those systems. So I'd say that one, is pretty different in what they do. But here, I think, Shane has great versatility. I think, a lot of spread the guys out, a lot of simple pass plays run from different looks and can attack a lot of different ways. I think the RPO game that he's built, here, I think is unique and been fun to learn how he uses different pass concepts, different runs, different kind of marries them all together and teaches them. I think that there's a lot of versatility in that.
We talked about Tyler Warren earlier a little bit before. He's really got a lot of ability. I'm curious for you how quickly it took for you to realize just how talented he was.
I'd say it was pretty quick. I think, with pretty soon when he got into the mix in OTAs with us in the spring, you could see just his feel. I think that's part of his strength is just his instinct and feel for the game. And with a guy like that, it really doesn't take a ton of time for him to kind of apply that skill set to. It's a pretty, when you think about it, it's a pretty translatable skill. Like, can I feel space? Can I feel how to get open against certain looks? Can I, understand how the defense is playing me? Can I body a guy and make a catch? I think a lot of those things he does really naturally, and you saw pretty quickly when he got into the mix here. So it's been, fun working with him. He's continued to, I think, learn and understand, what he needs to do in this offense. But it's been a lot of fun. He's a talented player for sure.
You mentioned the feel for him. A lot of the positives about Tyler Warren coming out of Penn State were physicality, his speed, the way he catches. I haven't heard that as much. The fact that maybe his intelligence, you think about all the other stuff, but his intelligence is special. So you noticed that right away, and that, I guess that would manifest itself a lot, like on a 3rd and 8 where you need him to sit in his zone, just certain things like that.
Yeah, I think that, a lot of times it's some of like the gray areas to football. Coaches want to make things black and white. Hey, this is the rule here versus coverage. Do this, do that. And I think that, that's most situations. But there's also the gray in a lot of, you're seeing a look for the first time, or this guy's playing this a little bit differently. Is he going to wrap around this guy, or is he going to take his angle a little bit higher? And a lot of those things he's done, really naturally. And so as a quarterback, that makes it easier to play with for sure.
What about the receivers? Start with Pitt. I've always admired his consistency, great hands, intelligent. What do you like about Michael?
Yeah, I think that he's extremely reliable and consistent, and that he's tough, not afraid to go over the middle and make the catch. Just consistent and reliable, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think that's why he's been so productive for as many years as he has, is he's just another smart football player, and he's reliable in those situations. Alec
Pierce, you said, might be one of the best golfers.
Yeah.
Also a really good player and made some phenomenal catches last year, big plays. What do you like about Alec?
It's just his explosiveness, ability to make plays down the field. He's fast, can get behind people, but also goes up, and catches the ball in contested situations. Is just a really good athlete, explosive down the field. And I mean, I think, does a lot of other stuff too. He probably gets the most notoriety or credit for a lot of those plays down the field. But I
Acrobatic.
think he can, he's made a lot of plays in the intermediate game or other, aspects of his game throughout training camp, and I'm excited to watch that this year.
One of the players that I've always felt was underrated coming out of the draft and even throughout his early NFL tenure is Josh Downs. I just think he's a phenomenal football player. Not the biggest guy, not going to run the fastest time, but he is so consistent. What do you like about Josh?
Yeah, I think he's another guy who's really smart, has a great feel and instinct for how to get open in space. I think you think about, in third down situations and when you really need a guy who can separate, a guy who can make the play, make the tough catch. He's been that guy for the Colts, for these past few years. So I think, him continuing to do that, and then, just a really solid football player.
And then lastly, I'll say with Jonathan Taylor, obviously Saquon's one of one, but I was curious, have you seen some similarities? Because they are different, but they're two of the best in the NFL.
For one, I think size-wise, they're both guys who have great speed and explosiveness, who can take it the distance, but also big,
Physical.
big physical guys who are tough to bring down. And I think you see that. I think obviously watched JT for a number of years, and he's been at the top of the league for that time. But it's been fun to watch him run and work throughout training camp. He's explosive, powerful.
If I could ask you to say one piece of advice you'd give now to rookie Daniel Jones, what do you think it would be?
Football is not a perfect game all the time, and coverages are going to play out different ways. And one thing you learn there. So it's like, can you learn something from certain situations, take it with you, but learn kind of. Not everything is black and white, kind of, and
Football's very gray.
Yeah, it'll see it, react, trust yourself. I think kind of playing with those instincts and kind of that freedom.
What are we going to say about Daniel Jones a year from now? Let's fast forward. We can't do it, but hypothetically, what do you think we'll be saying?
I mean, I think he led the Colts team to a very strong season and scored a lot of points, made a lot of plays, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. I think we got a lot of good players kind of across the board, but I think looking back, I think you say, hey, this was a Colts team that not a ton of people were talking about maybe, but proved they had a lot and won a ton of games and made a lot of plays, scored a lot of points.
Who has been the most instrumental in your life as a football player, but also as a young man?
Think back to my high school coach, Coach McNulty, and how hard he worked at helping us all have an incredible high school football experience. In college, it was Coach Cutcliffe at Duke, and someone I'm still very close to, lean on heavily for advice, and really, really special. Very fortunate to have him, and then I've had a number of great coaches in the NFL who I think very appreciate, guys who've believed in me and gone out and helped me learn, helped me grow. I think about Jason Garrett. I think about Mike Shula, Pat Shermer, a number of coaches who've shown. Who've helped me a ton and helped me grow, and there's been so many more. I'm sure there's other guys I'm forgetting right now, but I think that's a cool part of football is the relationships and the people you meet.
We can't let our guests go without having some fun, so I have some quick fire for you. DJ's top 5 quarterbacks of all time. You don't have to rank them.
So I'm just gonna go off of people that I grew up watching a lot. So I'd say. Let's see, Brady, right?
Yeah.
Brady, Rodgers, Peyton, Eli, Breeze, Rivers. That's the era of quarterbacks I grew up watching and looking up to. I think all those guys. I mean, now it's certainly Josh and Mahomes and all those guys. But those, to me, when I think of all-time great quarterbacks, it's like that class of Brady, Rodgers, Peyton, Eli, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. That was it for me growing up.
If you weren't playing football, what would you be doing?
Hopefully playing something. I mean, I don't know, basketball, but that's a long shot.
Yeah, your jump
Golf,
shot is.
yeah, my jump shot's not there anymore. But
Golf?
I
Golf.
don't know. I mean, no, if I dedicated my life to it when I was 10, maybe, but hopefully something athletic.
Okay, Duke is a football school. True or false?
I'd love to say it is, but it's tough. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
tough.
with the history of basketball that we've had at Duke, you know, but it's it's grown. We've had some good
You
teams.
have had some good teams. Good quarterback
Coach,
this year.
yeah, good quarterback. Coach Diaz
Pretty
has
good.
done a great job, and yeah, we got Riley now.
Yeah.
Riley carried it on pretty strong until he
Went to
left
the
us
dark side.
to Notre Dame.
yeah.
But yeah,
Watching the Super Bowl or watching March Madness?
probably the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like the game, the Super
Yeah.
Bowl is probably it. But March Madness, you got a whole there's games on all the
Yeah,
time.
I know.
That's a fun time.
If the NFL made a Netflix series about you, who would you want to play you?
Christian Bale, maybe.
I'll go Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
But
Tom
Christian
Hardy is
Bale-
he's a good pick for sure.
So you like The Dark Knight? That's your.
Yeah,
Would you rather have Taylor Swift or Drake write a song about you?
Drake.
Who's the best trash talker you ever played against?
Tough. Brandon Graham in Philadelphia
Yeah,
talks
he's-
a lot.
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
you've heard that. BJ Hill is a guy I played with in New York. He
Yeah.
would talk all the time in
Yeah.
practice.
How about the moment you realized you love football?
I think I always loved football. I think playing early on, I started playing football in second grade, I think, and I loved the contact of it. I think I was a linebacker and a safety.
Really?
And a
You're like
corner.
a
and
Bob Sanders.
I don't know if there's a Bob Sanders in Little League football, but I enjoyed the contact of it. I remember at that age, some kids are okay being hit, some kids don't want to be hit, and I enjoyed that. And the team, we had a really special Little League team, and that was a great experience for me growing up, and kind of helped me fall in love with the game.
Would you rather be on the cover of Madden or star in a Hollywood movie, let's say like a Spider-Man, Superman kind of deal?
Probably cover of Madden.
Cover of Madden.
I
You're
I don't trust my acting skills. See, if I was starring in a movie, that's a lot of time on the camera. I think Madden, your picture's there. You had a good season. Like there's a lot. That's easy.
I don't see you as a leading man.
I don't think that's going to be my post football.
Well, I want to say a big thank you. We kept you a little long to Daniel Jones, first episode of the Schultz Report, QB1 of the Colts. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jordan.
Really appreciate you.